Okay, so we finished as much of the strip down as we can on the car, and the car is now in the garage, and it's looking a bit tight in here. But anyway, I want to get onto the engine, and the reason I want to get onto the engine is I don't really know what status the engine is in. So first job I'm going to do is take the head off, and that will give me a look inside the engine and see what the bores are like and the pistons are like. So I'll turn the camera around and you can see where we're at. So there is the complete engine gearbox and radiator, and before I take the head off I've just got to take that radiator off the side. I don't want to damage it, so I'll get rid of that and then we'll have a look at what's involved in taking the head off. Okay, so the radiator has been removed. Unfortunately the hoses were full of rusty horrible sludge, and when I pulled the bottom hose off I got sprayed. So I now have rusty water all over me. Not really a problem apart from my washing machine exploded a few days ago, and it's going to be another 3 days until I get my washing machine back. Anyway, minor point. The rusty water isn't a particularly good sign that the engine's been run for a while, so it probably really does need a good flush through. But we'll see how we go. I've also taken the thermostat off, and you can see what I mean with this rusty water. Just show it there. Can you see that? Yeah, it is full of this rusty water. Anyway, the next part of this job is to remove the rocker cover, so I'll get that done now. Okay, so the rocker cover is removed, and I don't know if you can make this out in the footage, but it's looking a bit rusty and grotty now. I'll zoom in so you can see. Yeah, it's definitely been rusty at some stage. This engine has probably been sat for about 16 years. So the next part of this job for me is to undo the 9 head bolts. And you're meant to do them a certain sequence. I'll quickly show you, start from the outside. So 1, 2, and then 3, 4. It's quite hard to do this behind the camera. And then go inside again. So 5, 6, 7, 8. I don't know if I... Yeah, I think I got that right. Then finish with that one over there. Once I've done that, I'll actually remove the rocker assembly first, because you've also got to remember to do a little bypass hose, which I'll just zoom in on there. You're also going to need to undo that before you can take the head off. So I'll undo the nuts and then take the rocker assembly off. Okay, so I've undone the 9 head nuts. As you can see here, one of the studs actually came out instead. That's not a problem. So with those 9 nuts undone, I could actually lift the head off now, but I'm just going to undo these 4 for the rocker assembly now. The reason being, I'd prefer to lift the rocker assembly off and then remove the 8 push rods. If you lift the head now, you'll have the push rods hanging out from below the head. So it's best to probably take the rocker assembly off first and then pull those the push rods out next. Right, I've undone the 4 nuts, or you might be able to see that the actual whole stud came out in that case, and in that case. So there's only 1 nut that actually came off on its own. So this whole rocker assembly should lift off like so. There you go. Put that to the side. That then leaves you with the push rods, which you can lift up, but with push rods it's best to keep them in the same place. So what I've done is I've got a bit of cardboard ready with the 8 holes ready to accept the push rods, and as you can see on that, I've drawn the thermostat because I never know which cylinder is one. So if I put them in that sequence, I'll know I get them back in the right order. Okay, with push rods now out, we should be able to lift the head off. I have given it a tap under the corners to make sure it's loose, and I have made sure I've undone that bypass hose because that would be really annoying. So, little wiggle, yep, that's coming. Nice and gentle. And there we go. And those bores do not look that bad. Let's have a look under here. Yeah, that doesn't look too bad either. So hopefully this will all clean up. So now we have the head off, we can actually have a look at the bores. I don't know if the camera's picking this up very well. You might be able to see a bit of pitting in there. What I've also done is I've removed the engine mount bracket, or the bracket that holds the engine mount and the radiator off the side. That way that's allowed me to get a socket onto the crank pulley, and that means I can actually turn over the engine and just have a look at these balls. You can see that piston coming up now. So yeah, I can turn the engine over. Oh come on, what's that focusing on? Stud. So I can turn the engine over and have a good look at all the balls. But I believe with that pitting we can see on the side there, that is going to need at least a rehone and potentially a rebore. Okay, so that is the head removed. I'm not going to do much more on this video, to be honest. If I do the stripping down of the head, then the video will be too long. So that's for another video. But all I've done is so far is I've stripped the head off. I've identified any components that look a bit iffy, so that means take a look at the push rods as you take them out, make sure they're nice and straight. Anything that snaps or shears, like one of the studs might shear, take a note of it and make sure you get the spares, because it's really annoying to find you're missing one bolt. And as you can see here, I'm just removing the studs to make it easier to clean up all the gasket faces. So that's it for this video. Thank you for watching, and join me next time to strip down the valves and have a look at what exactly is a 5-port head.